Here we go. Here we go. And now you can't hear me. Look here. The mute button still wins, y'all. The mute button, you think we'd be able to get it by now. I wanted to share some poems with you to open up. Welcome, 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 welcome to Byrd Talk Season 3 Conversations and Remembering. If you are in the house and if you can hear me and if you can see me, please let me know because apparently I don't know how to work the unmute button. And hopefully y'all were actually able to catch that poem. Hopefully it came through. Let me know if y'all can hear me and see me. Well, I am super excited to be in this space with you all today. And to be able to have boom, we can hear. Okay, boom, we can hear. That let me know that that poem did not come through. Am I right, Tammy? That poem didn't come through. Y'all couldn't hear the poem. You know what? That's okay. You know what? We are living, we are learning. That just means I have to share it another time. That is fine. But let me know if y'all heard the intro to that poem here. Boom, we can hear you. That means y'all can hear me. You can see me. It is Tuesday. And I don't know about y'all, but I've had a long day and it has been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. But I'm super excited to be here in this space with you all and to have conversations with you all. Like I said, welcome to Byrd Talk Season 3. Conversations and remembering. And this is going to be the space where we are having liberatory conversations and making sure that we have a chance to remember who we are before the world got a hold of us. So if you know someone who would benefit from being in the space, make sure you tag them, bring them into the conversation, because this is not just going to be a me conversation. This is going to be a conversation with everyone that is involved. Poem did not come through, but you're live now. It says, all right, cool. You know what? Technical difficulties, they happen. I learn. We will move on, right? So one of the reasons I wanted to be able to start this space in particular and do something a little bit different for season 3 is I wanted to show up the way that I am asking my writers and my authors and my poets to show up on a regular basis. Sometimes it is scary to step out on your own. And if I'm asking other people to show up, I need to be able to make the first move and model what that looks like. So I have been told that my vulnerability is part of my superpower and part of my light, right? So this is an opportunity to be in conversations with all the people that I have been working with for the past 6 months, year, 2 years. And so we are going to go on and make this happen. So, what I am going to do next, y'all, I am super excited because who I'm about to bring up to the virtual stage with me is someone who has been on this journey with me since May of 2023. One of the things that came to mind when thinking about this person in particular is y'all have heard me talk about the story of how I started the morning writing space. And the morning writing space was an experiment. And it was really supposed to only be for 2 months. It was something that I was pulling people together for. And I wanted to be able to establish a healthy writing habit with the people that I was working with individually and send them off. That was back in January of 2023. Now, when I think about January 2023, and it only supposed to be for 2 months that I was doing this, because I'm not a morning person, y'all. Y'all see me out here in these morning streets. I need a nap afterwards. So this was only supposed to go until March of 2023. Joan did not come to us until May of 2023. And something that she said to me a while back was, if I would have quit, if I would have stopped, I never would have met her. And that just hit differently for me. And thinking about the ways in which she has transformed this space, has transformed me for the better. I call her my own healer. All of my people have names, right? She is a healer. She is joy personified. She was someone who I adore, absolutely adore. So I want you all to help me and join me in welcoming my girl, Joan Edwards, to the stage. Hey, Joan. How you doing? You got to unmute too, because look here, we gonna remember to hit
Okay,
this.
we're gonna work this out. We're gonna work this out. You know, that's like it's like we gotta like they're not. It's not used to all of this beautiful sound and joyful sound. Hey
Yes,
Heather, how you
yes,
doing?
yes. Hey, you know what? I am good. I'm here with you, And when I'm with you, something about you wakes me up. Like I want to show up for you. So
Yeah.
I and look here, Joan personified, Joy personified. We are here. The folks are showing up in the space. Thank y'all so much for being present. Yeah, I'm excited to have the conversation
I am
today.
too.
And we're both are look here, I'm very transparent. We are both on the semi struggle bus today, right? So we've had very long days. But we are here to show up and still have conversations with you all, right? So if you see a pause or if you see us just have a giggle and can't come back to the giggle, just giggle with us. Like we all need a little laugh. So before we kick off, I would love for you, Joan, to first of all, can you just scoot back a little bit? So Joan is wearing my very first T-shirt. My very first line. It says "Keep flying," and then today I am wearing my "Leap and Your Wings Will Appear," which is the next design of my T-shirt line and my merch line. So I see you representing. I appreciate you. You're not even home, and you have that shirt. So that speaks volumes. Like you travel with this.
I travel with my Byrd merch.
Oh my goodness, that makes my entire heart warm. So before we dive into the questions, I would love if you could one introduce yourself. So let folks know your name, your pronouns if you choose, where your feet are planted. I thank you every time for that language because that came from you. And when thinking about how we met and what brought you to Byrd's World, I want you to let the people know not only just a little bit of how we met and what brought you to Byrd's World, but I really want you to tell the folks what keeps you here. Like, because
Mm,
you've been here for 2 years and some change in 3 months, 4 months. So
yes.
you've been rocking and rolling. You have been a pillar of Bird's World, right? And so let the folks know again how we met just a little bit and what brought you here. But I really want you to talk about what keeps you here.
Okay, I'll start with the fun stuff. Joyful Joan here. Um, I'm glad that you introduced the concept of vulnerability and courage and how they go hand in hand, because I wouldn't have said previously that I'm a poet, that I'm a writer, I'm a storyteller, and I'm a healer. I would have started with my job title. Um, and so to be able to have that dream where I speak that dream, that is now a reality because I'm speaking it into existence and you're part of that. My feet are planted in Hartford, Connecticut. Um, and I just love that I'm part of this flock, that this Byrd's World. Um, how we met was virtually first, because that's what was happening in the post-pandemic moments. And I met
Mm.
you. You were larger than life on the screen, and there was something about you that made me want to lean in closer. I didn't quite know really why, but I did really feel like I wanted to know who this woman is with all the books behind her. And I think my subconscious knew, hey, there's somebody who is part of your dream community that you don't even know yet, but subconsciously I was pulling closer. Then I took your 3 hour on demand class, because I went looking for you. You'd been in my inbox, all of that, folks. She lands in your inbox and you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Until the moment that it flips. When it flips, it's just fast and beautiful and natural. And so, yeah, I took the 3 hour on demand class, and that the way that you're feeling yourself here and you're feeling folks, you're feeling her live, that's how she is recorded. So I was like, oh, I really need this. I need this energy. I need this inspiration I wanted to write a book. Like that was an idea, but it was just an idea.
Yeah.
What keeps me here is it's not an idea. It's a reality.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
not an idea. It's a vision. It's a movement for me. It's something I can share not just with my children, but with my father, as many of you have met him. So I keep telling Heather, this is intergenerational, not just within our group that we meet morning pages, evening pages, but my family feels the love, feels the vision, feels that movement. And who
Mm.
knows what's going to result from this, right? Because what they say about the ripples, the flutter effect of our bird's wings. I think my bird's wings are definitely impacting my children. I don't know when. It may be when
Mm.
I transition that they will, but I know for sure I'm impacting people in my life, my immediate family and the people who are my chosen family.
Yeah, and we hold each other in a really beautiful way. Like you, um, so backstory, right? Like back in March, I had the opportunity to hop on a train and travel to Hartford, Connecticut, for the Right Privilege Conference. And Joan and I, along with Catherine, were presenters in that space. And our other sister resistor, Regina, came with us to be in that room. And I got to spend a month. It was around a
Yeah,
month, 3 weeks to a month with
yeah.
you.
But
And
again, time is different with us. So
time, yes, but that's a whole other thing. And we say this all the time, that time doesn't exist when we're together, right? Like it's not until someone knocks on our door and it's like, hey, are you going to come to dinner? Or our stomachs are like, hey, are you going to eat? That we realize that, a significant amount of time has passed, but time doesn't exist the way that it does in the rest of the world. When we're together, we're here and we're
yeah,
locked in and we have beautiful conversations. And spending that time with you in Connecticut was life changing for me. Like I wasn't exactly sure. You know how like somebody's like, "Oh, come stay with me." You don't know if you're gonna get sick of each other or if you're just gonna like miss your bed and you just want to be back home. Like there was none of that for me. And when we were together, there were so many lessons that popped up for us, that we're still working through and unlearning and unpacking, that I will like that time I will never ever 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 forget. That's like my top, that's my second Joan moment. Um my first Joan moment was when, I've shared this before on social media before, when I had my first retreat and we were in space together. And I promise you, I will never forget this. Like Joan literally turns on the couch and she goes, I got something to tell you, right? What did you say? You said, I'm gonna tell
I
you something. I was gonna tell you this in private, but I just figured, well, why not just do it in front of everybody else, right? And that was the moment that you all let me know I wasn't alone in this movement. And
yeah,
that if I ever needed anything, to be able to call on you all. And I described this in the video, whereas before I had this pole and I was trying to balance this pole by myself.
mm,
And then here comes Regina. And then here comes Catherine. And then here you come. And now it's not, the pole's not in the middle and I'm trying to study this foundation. It's a pole in every corner that
yeah,
allows for this foundation to be solid. And it allows it for it to be held. And because of you all, I've been able to do this work, with the support that I need to move forward. So I'm forever in an eternal gratitude.
and
um,
I want to underscore what you just said because you asked me why I stay. Um, because I start every day with morning pages, with the collective, the community, and the sisterhood, right? There's like Regina and Catherine and Jano and Cassie and Teresa and Pam, and we're adding people in the morning, and then there's just lots of different women who are holding up those same balancing poles for me,
absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And supporting me in ways that how do I say this? I didn't think I needed help. I didn't think I
Mm.
needed support. I didn't think I needed someone to have my back. I didn't think I needed somebody to ask me what my writing win was until I
You didn't
did.
think you needed somebody to
I
pull out
did
pom pom.
pop-ups, and I'm not home, I would have pulled out mine too. I didn't know I needed somebody to just be the wind beneath my wings. I
Mm,
didn't know it until I felt it.
yeah.
So what keeps me here is just it allows me to breathe every day.
Mm,
It allows me to exhale and inhale in a safe, brave, soft, challenging space that gives me that healing so I can be the healer for others and then I can write.
Yeah, right, right. And so speaking of that, right, first of all, y'all in the comments, I love y'all so much. Joy equals Joan personified. Like, yes, right. And I wholeheartedly believe that morning pages space, Tammy, really is that space where we get to be before the rest of the world gets a hold of us. Because as soon as we stand outside, as soon as we step outside, there is something tugging at us, right? Sometimes it's before we even leave our beds,
Mm.
something is tugging at us. And so to have that dedicated space where we get to be ourselves and not have to worry about our responsibilities, not have to worry about whether or not we have to code switch today, or how we're going to code switch today, or how we're going to have to defend ourselves when we're in that staff meeting, right? All of these things chip
Yeah.
away at us on a regular basis. And here's the space where we don't have to worry about any of that. Not only is a place where we don't have to worry about it, but when those things come up, we have our sister resistors behind us finding solutions to work through it, supporting you as you're moving through it. And so you said something really important, Joan, that I want to highlight is that healing so that I can show up on the page, right?
Mhm.
In Byrd's world, and I talked about this a little bit this morning. Byrd's world, yes, we focus on the writing and the publishing pieces of it, but our healing comes first.
Mhm.
Like, people show up and want to be writers and are actively in that space, and we are constantly in moments where we are copying what other people are doing and we're losing our voice, or we show up on the page and someone told us that what we were doing was wrong, and so we shifted and contorted our bodies to show up on the page the way we think we're supposed to show up on the page, and that's not what we're about, right? So once we understand and identify what those things are, we're able to unpack what serves us and what no longer serves us, which allows us to show up on a page in a really beautiful way. So our healing comes first. And when we are actively in our healing journey, we are able to show up on the page. It's not just about the page, it's about the person. And when
Yeah.
we show up on the page, we then have a chance to publish. Oh, I did a Catherine. I just said that, right? So we show up on the page, we show up as a person, we show up on the page, which allows us to publish. I see you,
Ooh.
Joan, writing this down, right? We always do that. When someone says something like really good, we're like, oh, I gotta write that down, right? And then you think would be done there. Once the publishing is complete, you think we're done. No. Our words, our messages then have a chance to turn into movements. How
Mhm.
can we move others? How can we build that rippling effect?
Right.
It's just so much bigger than us, right?
It is.
Cassie said morning pages is the space we all need to share our day, start our day grounded, clear, and connected.
Connected. Yes, Cassie.
Hey, Geraldine. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you. Geraldine says hi.
Hi.
I'm so glad that you're here. I am so glad that you're here. Thanks for joining us. So yes, if you are just joining us, welcome again to episode 2 of season 3, Byrd Talk, Conversations and Remembering. And I am sharing space with Joy personified, the one and only Joan. And we are here in conversation. So Joan just had an opportunity to introduce herself and talk about not only what brought her to this space, but what keeps her here. And we had really great conversations around how time doesn't exist here, how we
Mm.
get to show up as our full selves, how we get to be held, and then how that has the opportunity to transform how we show up on the page, right? So with that being said, before we even move into your questions, so I just really quickly, I you had the opportunity to take my masterclass from idea to outline. I am moving, for those of y'all who do not know, I am moving that masterclass in person in Chicago. So starting September 16th, I will be in person running BWP's From Idea to Outline workshop. It is a 4-week workshop. And Joan, you had the opportunity to take part in it online. And it was, I wasn't present, like it wasn't like a live online, it was a pre-recorded masterclass that I did. So can you just let folks know some of the things that you took away?
Oh gosh.
I know
Sure.
it was a
That was
while.
like 2 years ago.
You
Um,
did just the feeling of it, or what you
So,
walked away
okay,
with, whether it's tangible on the page or like belief in yourself, like anything. Yeah.
I got you. But the first, and it's funny because it was recorded.
It's
The
recorded.
first was that you waited for me to do the task that you asked me to do. Again, it was recorded, but
Mhm.
it felt like the way time was moving allowed me to actually settle. Like there was no
Mm,
urgency.
mm,
So I can't explain it because I actually literally, folks, kept hovering the cursor over the image because I was like, wait, is there a way that somebody can record themselves and jump in live? I wasn't sure because she would say, "No, I'll wait. You go do that thing." And I would start to write, and I'd be like, "Wait, she's literally waiting in real time. Like it's not like okay." So that to me, as I reflect, it held me. Somebody waiting for me,
Mm,
literally, honestly, authentically waiting for me took made help me take myself more seriously. That's the first
mm,
thing. Second of all was the energy. There were obviously discrete skills, discrete moments, particularly the thing about procrastination and how what procrastination is. That to me was just real talk. And it was real talk that wasn't shaming. It wasn't sort of talking down. There was no condescension. It was like,
mm.
hey, girl, I got you. Even the images were like, hey, girl, I got you. I know, right? Like, that's the time that you're supposed to sit down to write is when you got to wash the dishes and clean the floor. And I was like, oh my goodness, she sees me. Wait, is so and again, this is very important because as somebody who's a budding writer, budding poet, particularly at that time when I was really dipping my toe in the river of courageousness and vulnerability,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how that was going to go. So that was a really transformative moment to be
Mm,
waited for and given real talk. So those are two things that I got from it, just the real
yeah.
talk.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank
Sure.
you so much. I realized that I was like, yo, we're kicking this off in a couple weeks. And there's someone that's right here that's going to be that has been a part of that journey. And that was pre-recorded. This is going to be live. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But now I'm gonna turn it over to you, Joan. I know we had
My
to get
turn, my turn, my
you're
turn.
so excited. You're like,
Let's
let's
go.
go.
Come on, Heather. So, the first question actually is really important to me because it was you modeling vulnerability that allowed me to see myself not from a deficit. So, here's the question.
Hmm.
Please share with us what you have learned about being stuck as a writer and getting unstuck. And what I'll say is this is something when you go, I'm stuck. That for some reason, when you say, I'm stuck, when you model that for us and then put it down and in real time and say, when you're stuck, I just want to know more about why did you introduce that and how do you get unstuck as a writer? Because it really deeply impacted me. So now I can model that too.
There are a couple of things that come to mind for me, right? So when we think about just Bird's World in general, we're not on solo journeys. We're not like going off, getting your assignment, going off and doing things on your own. Like we do this in community. We write together. We roll out of our beds in our rollers, our bonnets, our robes, and our caps. We turn on them. We greet each other in the morning. We check in. We turn on, we ground ourselves, turn on the music, and we write together. And so one of the things that I've just learned about myself is that I'm not someone who wants to do things alone, even if it's something that is traditionally done alone, right? Um, so when thinking about being stuck, I've spent many a nights. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I've spent many a nights overthinking things, and probably during the day. You know what I'm saying? I spent many a times overthinking things. And so I have realized that in order for me to move through things at a, I don't want to say quicker speed because it's not about speed. It's about being able to receive the clarity so that you can move to the next step, right? So in order to do that, letting people know that I need help is a practice, because we're not taught to ask for help. We're taught to figure it out. And because we're taught to figure it out, it slows down our progress and the place that we could be in. Again, not for speed, but for our own magic, for our own projects, for our own message, for the conversations that deserve to be had with other people, right? And so Joan, talked about this thing I do in the community where literally we have a Slack community. So outside of when we meet, there is conversation that takes place in between our meetings. And so if there's ever a moment from week to week where I might have said something or someone else might have said something that landed with you, but you forgot about, but you don't know how to execute on it now that you're in it, you literally hop in either voice or text and you go, I'm stuck. And everybody giggles when I say that, which is great because when you giggle, your defenses are down. You let go of the tension that's in your body and you're more likely to step into something that might make you uncomfortable. So why not make it fun? Why not make it a game and say, I'm stuck? And imagine what happens when you say, I'm stuck, and a group of people come and hold you and help you and ask you questions so that you can get to the root of what you need. And earlier today, when I was doing another live, the host brought up a post that I made back in 2023. And in that post, I talked about this being the community that I've always wanted. So I took note of the things that I was missing in writing communities and wanted to be like, well, why aren't we doing this? And either I did it and got shot down, or I didn't feel comfortable enough to do it because that wasn't the norm, or whatever the case may be. I took note of those things and brought all of those things over to this space because this is what I needed. And I did not want it to be a traditional space. And so when I think about what I've learned about being stuck as a writer is it's going to happen, but it doesn't have to happen alone. And the key to getting unstuck is having the community help guide you without the ego, without thinking that they're going to steal your idea, right? We genuinely show up for each other to help you move to the next step. That's it.
Yeah. I just, this is even more clarifying, and I'm part of the community, y'all. When you just said move at the speed of clarity, like redefining how we move is what I heard in that, right? To not worry about not having to be in a protective mode. Either like, well, I can't tell folks I'm stuck because then I'm less of an intellectual, less of a good
Yes.
writer.
No.
Right? That's what
No.
I'm just now unpacking. It's so funny because I'm part of the community, but I'm still unpacking it as I'm thinking about the healing aspect of it for me.
Yeah.
As well as the, what would Catherine say, the decolonized way
Yes.
of moving through being writers is doing it in community and the generative sessions that we have, right? I don't know if you want to say a little bit more about that, but the generative sessions, I thought, well, what do I have to offer? And what are we doing here? And literally giving a space for people to say, I'm kind of slowing down, or I'm stuck on this particular area, or I'm wondering about this particular area of a piece or of my work. Was that part of it, the coming unstuck?
Yes, and it was a combination of me recognizing what the community needed, right? So I noticed that there were moments where you all were getting stuck, and again, we're unlearning the habit of just what we've been taught in general, right? That does not serve us, that never served us. And so we're in this space where we have access to one another, but we're not utilizing it. So again, the thing that I am seeing, because I'm an observer, I see what goes on, and my brain, the Tetris pieces in my brain moves things around. And I'm like, how can I make this happen? If this is a challenge, how can we break through this challenge? Whether we are pushing through it together or we're climbing over it and we're helping each other over the ledge, whatever it is. So I was noticing that people were getting stuck individually, but they weren't saying anything. So why not create a space where we can open up and say, look here, I am writing and I don't know how to move to my next chapter, or I don't feel like this poem is clear enough. What does this look like? And it's not a feedback session, because our feedback sessions are different than
Right.
our brainstorming sessions. Our brainstorming sessions are, I don't know how to move through this. I'm stuck. Okay, what are you stuck about? Well, I don't know how to phrase it. Phrase it the best way you can. We're not showing up in perfection, right? And
Mm,
that's hard for people. That is hard for people not to show up in perfection, because there have been consequences.
yes.
Our
Yes.
lives were on the line. Some, but if we didn't show up perfect, if we didn't, if we had the eyes of the other on us, our lives were in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's ingrained in us. We talk about epigenetics a lot in our space, right? So the way that we're showing up isn't always just an us thing. It's our ancestors,
Yes.
7 generations back,
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
and the
Ooh.
reason why we're showing up the way that we're showing, right? So those brainstorming sessions was a way to again model, if you're stuck, bring what you got. Well, I
Mm,
don't know how to, I don't, say what you got to say and we'll work through it together. You don't know what the sentence is, start with I am stuck. Well, what are you stuck about? And I just get to ask you questions and we unpack it together. And the next thing you know, the thing that might have taken you a month or 2 months to work through, you didn't work through in 30 minutes.
and you got I think there's the support, which, by the way, the taking off that cape, putting
Hmm.
it, throwing it in the corner so that receive. There's receiving so that it unlocks something. I also witness and feel the uplift. There's something there in the uplift of that support. It's not
Hmm.
procedural, like, oh, I get it now. I can move forward with this particular project. It's, I matter.
Yeah.
I matter. And that, I don't know if you had tried to explain that to me before, I don't know if I would have understood it fully. I get
Yeah.
it in my body.
Yeah.
Now, when you say epigenetically, I know generations back, there are women behind me who are grateful that this woman right here is not suffering alone and is asking for support, not because she's weak, but because she's strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It takes a lot of
anyway,
strength, because I show up the same way. When I'm stuck, I say I'm stuck. It's not
mhm.
that, oh, I'm the guide, I'm the facilitator, I'm the coach, I know it all. I don't know it all. I'll tell y'all that from the get-go. Like,
You but you started it. That's the point with the first question was, when you started that, I was like, what is she doing? Saying I'm
I'm stuck.
I really, for real. I was like, what? We do this a lot with Heather. We look at her like, what? Yeah, go ahead. I'm not gonna do that. Let's see who's gonna be the first person to do that.
Every
We love each
single
other.
time.
And then she goes, by the way, I'm stuck in this particular way on a voice message. Anyway, so that to me was really the modeling of it.
Hmm.
Made me want to ask that question to see, like, what
Hmm.
does how's that come through you?
Yeah.
There was something you said earlier. I'm an observer, you said.
Yeah.
And so this may be a hard question, so it's okay if you pause. Your younger self, and if you have your book of somewhere there, if your
My
younger,
first one.
your first one.
Oh, you.
I know, when she slides back, y'all be careful. There we go. So hold that, hold it. As your younger self who wrote that book is observing you,
Hmm.
for published book, by the way, of your younger self. If that younger self could talk to you right now, what would she say? What do you imagine she'd say to you? Or maybe what would you say to her? She's observing you.
Hmm. What would my younger self say to me?
Mm.
Oh, okay, cool. Yep. Mm-hmm. I can't believe you made your dreams come true.
Say that again for the people in the back.
I don't know if I can.
I can't believe you
I
made
can't believe you made your dreams come true.
come true. And if you could show them your book.
Yeah. So, oh man, I didn't know that was going to happen. So this is the very first book that I wrote. Jones
I love it
giggling.
every time. I love it every
It's
time.
because me and stick figures don't get along. Um, and this is me.
Here we go. How
And
old?
I was 6. I was 6. And fun. So, story about this, right? They didn't have brown paint back then. And so my mom and I had to experiment. Because again, you couldn't Google. Like you couldn't figure out this is actually my hand size, y'all, when I was 6. Mind you, look at the page and look at the size of my hand.
Oh,
But
and no
then
ChatGPT either, huh?
here's the funnier part. I had to turn my foot sideways to make it fit on the page because it was so big. But I had to make a brown paint because brown paint didn't exist. And so my mom and I had to experiment with finding the right shade of pink. And so, not thinking about this when I was younger, but also understanding that a shade of me didn't exist as a color. And what, I turned it into something that was fun, but it's definitely a representation of the extra steps that we have to go through to exist on the page.
Yeah.
And that lesson that's there, right? And so even thinking about that moment of the perseverance, because I easily could have been like, no, okay, we're not going to make yourself brown, you can make yourself something else, right? But there was a perseverance that existed to find that brown because it was not easy. And then we had to duplicate it because at one point we ran out of paint. So we had to figure out how to match it and do it again. And so there's this level of perseverance that I even had when I was 6 that I'm just now realizing to make sure that my figures look like me.
Yeah. I asked that question because every time I have seen
Oh,
that
you got
book,
me.
when you have, and I think it's emotional, perhaps because you're tapping into something pretty rare.
Hmm.
Many times, as a mother, I realized that my children, and I did as a kid, would say things, and many adults would say, "Oh, sure, maybe."
Yeah.
And what I heard in that was, "I'm gonna write a book," and then the support of your mother, and
Yeah.
then the "I'm stuck," which didn't stay stuck because you actually then persevered through it with your mother to
Yeah.
make it happen. And so there's 2 levels here.
Hmm.
1, wow, to be able to say to your 6-year-old self, look at where we are right now. Look how big we are right now, right? That's very rare. Many people don't get there. And the
Unbelievable.
other reason was the community of being able to just to help with making the color, uh, being there, believing
Mm-hmm.
you, supporting you, guiding you, right? Like we all need that. That's what you provide for those of us that have that inner child that didn't publish a book at
Yeah.
6. So I think about when I wrote, um,
Mm.
a I didn't write I don't know if I wrote a book, but I definitely had notebooks, composition books that had designs in them, and I copied down everything that I saw and I observed. And so I connected when you would show your book with what would have happened if I had been able to, have someone support me enough to the point of pushing me to publish, because I think your mom really encouraged you to do that, or a teacher.
Both my mom's a teacher and my mom, right? So thinking about, man, that's going to be a whole nother thing to unpack, right? But I feel like there was a call that we were on, and I think you might have kicked this off where you said, "Thank your mom for me," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And you said something like, "Because of who she is and how she showed up, not only because she gave birth to me and I'm here, but because of how I was raised." It shows the teachings and
Yeah.
how I teach shows up in this space, right? So thinking about how my mom's influence as a teacher, because she was a fourth grade teacher for 40 years, right? So she worked with them little ones, bless her heart. Right. But my mom showed up for everything. Like I played 4 sports at one point, growing up, and my mom came to every single game. except for one because she got into a fender bender. Wasn't even her fault. She was on her way to the track meet and got to a fender bender, right? And I was also in band. I was in National Honor Society. Like I was in all of these things, and my mom always showed up. Like my mom was next to me working with me to color this one. My mom was next to me while I was typing this one out on the computer. I have another book, I think my third one or my second one, I typed on the typewriter. Like there's a book that I typed on a typewriter, and my mom was right there. And so the level of showing up for others started with my mom showing up for me. Like I'm just now realizing that, like, in this moment.
I think, and again, I would repeat, that's how you show up and have shown up for my inner child so that I can tap into and manifest my dream without waiting any longer. And I know you do that for lots of other women. And then there's the other level, which would probably make you cry again, but there's just something that I think Catherine has said before, that we are, our families are some of our first teachers. And your mom did that with you. She sat by you. You sit by us. We sit by each other, right? We hold each other's hands. We encourage each other. So I didn't want that to get lost in your process, because that always gets my attention as a mother and as a former educator. That makes a difference. It's who is mothering, who is supporting, who is showing up for us. Doesn't always have to be our family. It could be chosen family. It could be somebody else. And I just wanted to say that you do that for me and for us to be able to tap into our inner child's expression today.
Yeah,
we're showing up present. So are you ready for this next bit? It's really like, so it's inspired. Let me just contextualize it for you. So I used to watch on Bravo this show called Inside Actor Studio with James.
Yes.
Did you used to watch that? And for some reason I was obsessed. I started to look up on Wikipedia why it was was an interesting way to interview actors, was because it wasn't quick fire questions that was about a show or anything. It wasn't surface. It was deep. I feel like these talks are deep. And they are deep for folks. But what I really, really loved was at the end when he did the rapid fire questions. Now, I don't have 10, but I do have some.
Okay. And feel free to hop in, y'all, if y'all want to throw a rapid fire in there for me too. And me and Joan, we could play along. Like
that would be great. So this one is, bubbles are
joy.
A sound you love to hear.
Laughter. And music.
Okay. A sound that you dislike.
Raising of voices that's not constructive.
Your favorite time of day.
Right when the moon's at its peak.
I think I know the answer to this one. Your least favorite time of the day.
The mornings. Look here, I'm a night owl. I do it because I have to, and I will turn on for you.
Oranges or apples?
Apples.
Okay. I think this will be the final one, but I hope others jump in there if you got some other funny ones, because I'm thinking I wish I have for future authors. I wish you have for future authors.
I wish I have for future authors is to hold their book in their hands. And have other, like, to be, it's specific, right? So not only to hold your book in your hand, that first moment, because I got to share that moment with one of our authors recently. So for you to have that first moment, but also for you to have the moment where not only you're holding it, but you're in a room full of people who are also holding your book.
Mm. Oh, you made me sit back on that one.
It's not just about us. It is about the rippling effect that it has, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
I'll take it even a step further. Not even the people, not only the people who are holding their book in their hands together in a room. I want my wish for a future author is to have your great grandchildren hold your book in their hand.
Yeah.
Children, youth, nephew, niece, the
Students.
younger generation,
Yes.
two
Yeah.
generations removed.
Okay, this will be the final one, unless somebody else out there. Come on, y'all. Come up with the question. Maybe this is a how can we stump Heather Byrd? I
Oh, come
don't
on.
think we can. I don't think we can.
I mean,
No.
you never
See,
know.
see, she's doing this. Um, one reason why people should join us right now.
Yo, I was thinking about this earlier today because I was having a conversation about just the state of this country.
Mm.
And to have a space where you were not questioned, where you were seen, where you have a chance to rest in a way you've never rested before, to prep for what is to come is important. We always say that people that come in the first week that they're in the space, their mouths are on the floor because they didn't know that this space is something that could exist. And that is very hard to translate into a social media post or in a video or even in this conversation.
Right.
And so, if there's ever been a time where you craved community, but there was something missing from the community, if there's ever been a time where you knew you wanted to evolve, but the things around you weren't allowing you to evolve in a way that you wanted to, if you just need a space to show up and scream and cry and process your day,
Yes.
the
Mhm.
best way I can put it is you will never be you. How do I phrase it? The way that we hold you is a way that I'm going to say you've never been held before. And that's a bold statement. That is a
And
very bold statement and true.
and true. And true.
So for anyone who is not only thinking about writing a book, because it's yes, it's about the work and the book and the writing. It is so much more. It is not transactional, it's transformational. And when you walk in, you're gonna walk out a different person. Guaranteed. So come
100%.
try it out.
Yes. Wow. Transformational. And that that's accessible. To
Just
be to have transformational accessible in your life is priceless.
yeah.
And I would say if you're listening to this conversation, you deserve it.
That. Ooh, because we walk in with armor. Every single person that has walked into this space, Joan, if you remember the first time we met for our one-on-one, you walked in, you walked in with armor because of
Yes.
all the things that happened prior to being in this space.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think every single person that walks in with this armor. And then the more that we're here, the more that we realize we can leave bits and pieces of that armor behind until we know we no longer are carrying that extra armor. And then we show up in spaces differently. Our light begins to shine,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And I would say that, again, that one-on-one, I remember where I was, how my body felt. My stomach was up here. It was tense because I was used to getting feedback from teachers where they would start with something nice and then eventually they'd say, this is why your work is not worthy, not enough, why you need to fix it so it can be more like some other version.
That has
And
nothing
therefore,
to do with it.
I had taken the step to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was necessarily their intent, but it's the way they were taught. But
Yeah.
they passed it down to me. So when I walked into your one-on-one, it was my first time of trusting you in that space. And I will tell you, I held tight until after I logged off and had to sit with myself for a good while to understand why the other shoe didn't fall.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, excuse me? You would say, oh, if this isn't working for you, let's try something else. Or, well, I'm only sharing with you what I believe, and you get to decide yourself. That
Mm-hmm.
had never been said to me before. I'd never considered it. So that was the beginning of my healing, I would say, as a writer. Because I was like, oh, I
Cool.
keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I need to let my belly go down. I need to exhale and receive. So
Mm.
that was beginning of my healing so that I could show up more authentically on the paper, because up until that point, and I'm still unpacking, where I was trying
Mm-hmm.
to be someone else. I was trying to be the writer that Heather needs me to be. I didn't articulate it that way until I
Yeah.
got off the call, and you kept being that person that didn't let another shoe drop. There was never a moment where you tricked me and were like, gotcha. And
Yeah.
again, not saying that people intend to do it, but the
It's
impact.
how we're taught.
It's the impact. And
Yeah.
then I didn't go in a shell. I stayed open. And the more open I stayed, the more I could grow and the more I could be honest and the more I could bring the real Joan onto the page. And I'm
Oh
still
yeah.
unpacking that.
Oh yeah. And it takes people time to learn how to do that. Because when you tell someone to show up as themselves, and this entire time they have been told to be someone else, you then have to begin to question, well, then who am I?
Mm,
How do I want to show up on the page? Right. And so then I begin to ask questions to figure out who you are. And
yes.
sometimes that can be really uncomfortable. And sometimes I ask questions and people are like, well, when are we going to get to the writing? We can't get to the writing until you know who you are.
Facts.
If you want to just get straight to the writing and get the thing out, I'm not for you. You know what I'm saying? We can maybe make something happen off or a one off or whatever. But when it comes to the work, healing comes first, writing is second, and then movement building is third. So when I ask these questions, who you are before you show up on the page for the book, you can journal. But for the book, I need all of you there because all of you is needed. And all of you is going to be different from me, which is going to be different from Regina, from Catherine, from Cassie, from Pam, from Tammy, from who am I
Amanda.
missing? Amanda, from like Janae, Teresa. Everyone is different. And I want that difference on the page, which is going to require some work. So you might yes me like everybody else does, right?
Or just
Yes,
or do this. Or do this.
or do this. Yes, I've had people hide away from me in calls, but I promise you it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. To answer Cassie's question, hammock or desk, you already know the answer to this is my hammock. Yes, I have a hammock inside my house by my bay windows. When I tell you that's my favorite spot, it is. Yes, it is. And Geraldine, yes, carrying that armor is a burden.
And we
It's a
get
burden,
to put it down.
and we get to put it down. Joan,
Yes.
I love our conversations.
I love our conversations too.
Absolutely love our conversations. Thank you so much for being in this space. Thank you for showing up for me, for everyone in the group, for showing up for yourself. Because there have been days where we have seen you show up in ways you wouldn't have imagined you
No.
would show up for yourself.
True.
And so I hope that you take time on a regular basis to celebrate that. We got a chance to celebrate together. And while I was in my towel, like brushing my teeth, we were just dancing, right? Um, but who you are today is not who you were when you showed up.
That's true. That's so true. And I thank the group for that. There's bits of everybody's inspiration that are like part of this smile, part of this joy, part of my heart, and contributing to my soul growth. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Any last words for folks before we log off?
Just I think people are gonna wonder like how they can be in touch with you, how they can be part of this. So let's
That's
go.
so real. That's thank you, Joe, for that setup. So if you are interested in learning more about Bird's World, what we offer, this community that we're talking about, you will actually have the opportunity to experience the community. So next Tuesday, what we are going to be doing is hosting our open house. And it's birdsworldpublishing.com/open house. Go to that link and register. If someone can also drop that in the chat somewhere. Um, if you go to that page and register, you'll have a chance to come together next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, where we will be in community with one another. We will also have the opportunity to write together, and you will learn more about Bird's World and what this looks like. So if you're wondering, well, what are they talking about? What does this actually feel like? How can I be a part of this space? The open house is the perfect place for you to be in community with us so that you can experience it firsthand and bring all of your questions that you have about the space. So I would highly encourage you all to show up to the open house next week. We will be doing these lives every other Tuesday. So if you want to learn more about what we're doing and who we are, definitely show up in this space. Yeah, it's been a beautiful ride, and it's only going to get bigger from here. I
Mhm.
am very serious about our mission of being able to empower 1,000 women of color to write and publish their brilliance so they can turn their message into a movement, right?
Mm.
In order for us to get from 1 to 1,000, it's either going to be you or someone that you know that needs to be a part of this space. So with that, like, come on over. Like, if you have questions, hop on my DMs, let me know. To close us out, Joan,
Yes.
answer the question for us. Are you ready?
Yes.
Who are you returning to?
Mm. Who am I returning to? I'm returning to, you mean like, oh gosh, that's a hard question. I'm returning to the woman who I've been meaning to be. I'm returning to the little girl that says, hey, let's do this. And I'm returning to the future descendants who are going to be reading my words.
Hmm. Hmm. Joan, thank you so much for being here. I absolutely adore you. Thank y'all so much who have been here. Geraldine, Cassie, Tammy, I see you. Thank y'all for being in the chat. If y'all know someone who could benefit from watching this or just want to be in the conversation, go
Go ahead.
ahead and tag them. And if you're here, let us know by typing in hashtag replay. We check all the comments. We are here in conversations with you. And until next time, I want to let you know that I see you. You are not alone. I want to encourage you to keep reading, keep writing, and as always, make sure you keep flying, y'all.
Bye, everybody.